Hi everyone! So I wanted to revisit an old video. So I guess with YouTube analytics being a little weird, this video was recommended to people. It was a video I had done 2.5 years ago or so called Brands I've Never Tried, where I talked about 10 brands I had never tried before. And I thought that I'd revisit this because I've since tried half of those brands. So I thought that I would talk about the brands that I've tried, what I've tried, and what I think about them now, and why I still haven't tried the other 5. So I'm just going in the order that I talked about them in the video, and the first brand is Sugar Pill, which I still haven't tried, and I'm very surprised in myself. But alright, so let's get into this. When I had done this video, I wasn't on my no-buy journey yet. And I really wanted to purchase Sugar Pill. And even after doing this video, talking to a lot of people loved Sugar Pill. And Sugar Pill is really known for very pigmented, vibrant, colorful eyeshadows. Definitely something I love to play around with. So I did go on the Sugar Pill website to consider purchasing, but it was going to be way too expensive to purchase directly from the website. So I was looking at other places that carried Sugar Pill. Beautylish. So Beautylish is fantastic for shipping to Canada. I've had a couple of good experiences with them, so that's where I was looking, but they were constantly sold out of everything that I wanted because I figured if I'm making an order, I might as well get the wish list order. But there was always like 2 or 3 things that were sold out, so I kept putting it off, and then eventually it was just not affordable anymore for me. But it's something that I've still thought about. Like, I really enjoy Sugar Pill. Sugar Pill is one of those brands that like I still follow on social media because I love their posts. I love seeing what other people do with Sugar Pill makeup. I just haven't actually tried a single piece of Sugar Pill stuff myself yet. You know, I do believe someday I will make those purchases, because even though like I'm on this continual no buy, I think there will come a time when I will be able to try a couple of these new things. Like, I'll be able to make a couple of like little purchases. Just, it won't necessarily be the whole wish list, but at least I'll get to try a couple of things. I'm definitely curious about a couple of those really vibrant, bright shadows. The second brand is Jouer. And Jouer, I remember really interested in the highlighters. I remember really thinking they looked beautiful. I know a lot of people said they were very soft. I think the blushes too were just, I've been in more of a blush phase like than really other makeup. I don't know if you can tell, but that's why I was drawn to Jouer. And I've tried like a sample of Jouer foundation, I believe, because a couple of times from Sephora orders in the past, I've had some stuff like that. But I don't really count that as trying a brand because you don't get the whole experience. Like, you're trying a foundation from a foil packet. It's not going to be the exact same thing as actually having the actual product in your hand. So I still haven't tried anything from Jouer, and I feel like I've been sort of removed from the side of the beauty world that talks about Jouer. It's a brand that I feel like was really popular around the time I did this video, so like early 2018-ish. I don't feel like they're talked about as much anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the people that I'm watching just don't talk about that brand, but I'm still curious because I've never tried the thing. But if I was going to purchase anything from Jouer, I think it would be like the blush highlighter thing. The third brand, still another one I haven't tried. This is Elle. So 100%, I'm more about the aesthetic of this brand than the actual makeup. This is not a brand that's talked about. This is not a cosmetic line that I'm very familiar with. I can't imagine that the products are spectacular. Again, I'm just thinking this based off of other people not talking about it. I really want the packaging. Hands down packaging. This is why I really like the Elle aesthetic. I really enjoy her designs as a fashion designer. I really like her clothing. I think her runway are phenomenal, and some of the best makeup looks have come from Elle runway shows. Like, one of the most inspirational things for me was a runway show she did a couple years ago, and Pat McGrath was a makeup artist. I remember Gigi Hadid, and it was like the purple and the pink sort of 60s throwback, and it was when Pat McGrath was teasing the La Vie en Rose palette, which is the reason why I bought that eyeshadow palette, was because of that Elle runway show. So this is, for me, is more of an aesthetic thing and not an actual thing. I'm not even really curious about the product, to be honest. This was just something that I would want for display purposes. And if I'm gonna do something like that for display purposes, I might as well just actually go like the fashion route and actually like own something Anna Sui, you know? So this is probably one, like if I was gonna do another video like this, which I might do, there's a lot more brands I haven't tried. So if people would be interested in a similar video like this, I feel like Anna Sui would be omitted from a list, whereas like Sugar Pill would still be on it. The next brand is Glossier. So I've tried Glossier since making this video. I made one Glossier order and I purchased a couple of things. I got the brow gel because I remember that being really popular and that's long gone. The concealer, the balm.com, which I still regularly use, even just as recently as my 4 Looks 1 palette with the Anastasia Subculture palette. So I still really like that, and the concealer is pretty good. It's just not a great color match for me. At the time when I purchased it, I think there was 3 shades, and now there's a lot more in terms of shade range. I was really anti-Glossier, like aggressively anti-Glossier. I feel like I really took a hard stand against them because for a while it really felt like they were just showing conventionally pretty people with little makeup on, and it was like this whole model off duty thing, which just kind of was like, okay, this is for a very specific kind of person, but if you're not genetically blessed, you can't really do this. Like, it's not gonna look the same way. I was personally really annoyed at Glossier, and since doing my no-buy, I've actually really come around to the Glossier aesthetic. Obviously, I haven't purchased anything new, but I've definitely been intrigued by things like the cloud paints. There's a lot of really fun products that Glossier has. I've been more into that sort of lighter coverage skin thing, and it's just been more appealing. I don't know if it's just a general shift, because I feel like this has been a change for a lot of people because there was a less emphasis on like full coverage, heavy makeup, and like the kind of classic like 2016 makeup, if you think of that like Instagram, YouTube stuff, which was like the carved brows and like the full coverage matte foundation and like layers upon layers upon layers of stuff. I feel like a lot of people have kind of moved away from that, and it's been lighter coverage. It's been dewier things, and I've been more drawn to Glossier, so it's definitely a brand that I would purchase from again in the future. It's also not the easiest thing to get in Canada as well, so that does keep me away from it sometimes. Like, even if I was looking to make like a repurchase, it's not something that's easily accessible to me. So if I was going to be like, hey, I need a new brow gel, I'm not going to be like Glossier because it's going to cost a small fortune to get it to me. So there's also those things, but I just find it funny how my opinions have changed so drastically in regards to that brand, because I know I've said some, you know, not so nice things just based on like my own personal like insecurities and stuff, and what I felt like their marketing was saying, and I think that they've sort of changed, and my own perception and stuff has changed. So very interesting to reflect back on that. The next brand is Tom Ford, which I've tried, not because I've purchased anything from Tom Ford, but because my sister passed down some stuff from Tom Ford, and it was good. I won't say I was like mind blown by anything. I remember like a cream eyeshadow, powder eyeshadow duo, which is really nice, but nothing spectacular. I feel like the Tom Ford makeup aesthetic is very classic, very classy, very subtle makeup, like some designer stuff tends to be. This is not all designer makeup. Like, I'm not putting all of like, you know, Dior, Chanel, YSL all in like the same bucket, because they're definitely different, and there's definitely different products within their ranges. But I feel like Tom Ford has that designer appeal in that the products aren't super intense, and it has that very high price tag as well, so I feel like it attracts a very specific consumer, a very specific person who likes the designer labels and is willing to spend that extra money, because Tom Ford is one of the most expensive brands that I've ever seen in terms of like even individual products. Like, when you look at a price of like a Tom Ford lipstick compared to a Dior lipstick, YSL lipstick, and as you go down the line, you see how expensive it actually is, because you're really paying for that name, and I feel like that's the kind of people that it appeals to. I'm not that kind of person. In my mind, a Tom Ford makeup girl is a very minimal makeup person, which is not my jam, but I would probably need to try more products in order to really like talk about the brand, but I don't have any interest in exploring the brand any further. Next, we have Lemaire, which I still haven't tried. Not surprised. It's way too expensive. Lemaire had been on my wish list because I remember reading an article like years and years ago that that's what the skincare that Stevie Nicks used. So I was like, gotta have it. Yeah, not for that price. You know, I don't got rumors royalties, so that ain't happening. But it's just, I think that there's this like mythology with Lemaire that it is that brand that all of these celebrities talk about, and it is like so highly praised that I feel like a lot of people, even if they just have basic knowledge of like skincare and makeup, have heard of Lemaire and they're like, I want to try it just to see what all the fuss is about. I remember reading fashion magazines and it was always like that little thing mentioned whenever there was skincare stuff. It was like Lemaire. So like that brand has been in my mind for probably most of my life. Like I remember reading fashion magazines when I was like 12, 13. So they're like, well, you know, it's like 20 years later. I'm still thinking about Lemaire and I've still never tried anything from it. Not even a sample. Not even a sample of Lemaire. And I probably don't want to because you know what? It probably is actually good. And I feel like if I got a sample of it, then I'd like it. And then I would know I can't afford that. Like, you know, a eye cream that's like $300 that you need to repurchase a couple of times a year is not something sustainable for me. So I think Lemaire can kind of come off of the wish list. It's more of like a fantasy list. It's not something that's, I think, realistic. The next brand is Colored Rain, and Colored Rain I did try. I have the Vivid Pigments from Colored Rain, and I love them. I love them so much. They are some of my favorite colorful eyeshadows. I haven't tried anything else from Colored Rain, just the Vivid Pigments, and it's the Vivid Pigments from the first time they came out. I know they've reformulated since, so I don't know what the reformulation is like, but mine are fantastic and I use them all the time. I alternate between the Viseart Editorial Brights and the Colored Rain Vivid Pigments when I'm doing colorful eyeshadows. They're so beautiful, and I really would like to try more things. Probably more eyeshadows. I know that there's more to the Colored Rain range, but that's what I'd be interested in trying more of, is eyeshadow. If you've tried anything from Colored Rain besides eyeshadow, let me know your thoughts. Next is Melt, which is also a brand I have since tried. I did a makeup swap and was gifted a Melt stack, and it's good. It's good eyeshadow. I've heard that there's a difference between the palettes and the stacks though, so I haven't tried any of the palettes. People often ask me if I've tried Melt palettes. I feel like it must be a sort of aesthetic that kind of goes well with me, because that's a question I get asked all the time. It's like, what do you think of this Melt palette, this, that? And I'm like, I've never tried it, and people are always very surprised. But I think that they do really fantastic color stories. I think that they are very unique in that sense. I can't speak again, like I said, on the quality. I just think that they're very unique in terms of color story. I have heard mixed things about it. The stack that I got was good, but it wasn't enough to make me want to try anything new. It wasn't enough to make me want to explore the brand further. I think out of curiosity, I'd like to try a palette because so many people have been talking about them and talking about them to me specifically that I'd like to try a palette just to see what the fuss is all about. But I know some other people have talked about their lipsticks and stuff before, but I feel like I got enough out of those stacks though to know that it's not a brand that I would like be chasing after, that I'm not like looking out for every new release. All right, second to last brand is Sigma. Okay, so at the time I did this video originally, I had not tried Sigma. Since then, Sigma had contacted me and asked if I wanted to be an affiliate, and I thought that meant being on a PR list. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Free brushes. I'm excited because people were always talking about how good Sigma brushes were. That was like the first thing I remember hearing on YouTube was like MAC brushes and Sigma brushes. And I was very excited. I was very excited. And they sent me this lovely package that had like, I think 4 brushes and the makeup remover or the brush cleaner and the little scrubby pads so you can clean your brushes on it, and a bunch of makeup like eyeshadow, blush, lipstick, lip gloss, that kind of stuff. It really seems that they're trying to push their makeup more than their brushes, but I thought it would be like a continual thing because I really didn't feel like I had enough experience with the brushes to recommend them. So like, I still have an affiliate code. I've never made a dime off of it because I've never promoted it because I've never felt comfortable doing so. I'm surprised they haven't removed me from the affiliate list because I've made $0, but they constantly send emails trying to get you to buy stuff. Like, you're an affiliate now, so they're like, save 30% off, buy now, make an order, get this, get this. They're constantly sending emails that you can do little Sigma videos to get money, to get free product. You have to submit if you want product. I don't know if this is true for everybody. I keep getting emails telling them, like, if I'm interested in trying their new releases, if I'm interested in trying new things, I have to submit a request form to try these things and detail actually how I'm going to use it. They'll do little contests, why you might see people do like Sigma videos on Twitter and Instagram with little specific hashtags, because that's the hashtags that they tell you you have to use. And it's just a constant like thing of trying to get you to spend money, because they give you like this extra affiliate discount to spend more money, and it just felt a little weird to me. It still feels a little weird for me. So I haven't actually ever made a Sigma purchase. I just was gifted a handful of things that I occasionally use. The brushes I have aren't my favorite brushes, and I don't think the makeup is that great. I have an eyeliner that I use from them, actually, that's made an appearance in some videos. Just like standard black eyeliner, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. I definitely had a different experience than I was expecting, and I don't know what it's like for other people who are Sigma affiliates, but I just never felt comfortable promoting it. So I had a contact person at Sigma who has since left Sigma, and so I don't even have like a direct person to talk to be like, hey, take me off of this affiliate list. I just keep getting the generic like affiliate emails. It's a very strange experience. Maybe they did take me off the list because maybe they looked at it and saw that I made no money for them. So anyway, moving on. The last brand is Nabla, which is a brand I still haven't tried, and it's a brand that's really high on my wish list because it's an Italian brand. I'm half Italian, so that alone makes me really interested. I'd really like to see like what kind of like Italian cosmetics are out there and explore that. But Nabla has such beautiful products and such unique things, especially shadows. I'm going back to shadows again, but I feel like they have such unique things that you don't really see from other brands, things that just look different, perform differently, and I like looking at it. Like, I like looking at these different things, and it's a brand that gives me some inspiration without actually touching the products, like Sugar Pill. So I'm definitely very, very curious about what they're actually like and would really like to try them someday. Like, of brands I haven't tried, and not just everything on this list, but I'd say like Sugar Pill and Nabla would be very, very high if I was going to do like another video like this, because there's so much to explore with both of those brands. Nabla, again, does have a little bit of a barrier because of how expensive it would be to get to me in Canada, but I feel like it would be worth it to try it. But again, it would be one of those things where I wouldn't just buy like one thing. I'd definitely make like a solid order, and that's just not something that's feasible for me right now, but I'm not discounting anything for the future. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about these things, talk about some of these brands, and talk about how opinions change, because I feel like it's important to acknowledge that. And like, I have so many videos up on my channel and so many like strong opinion-based videos, and despite how strong my opinions may have been at one time, they can change, and that's true for everyone. And I think that's just like a little reminder, is that like people can change their mind, they can change their opinion, they can have new experiences, it can go back and forth, you know? You can really love something and then really hate it, and you can really hate something and then really love it. And so anyway, I thought this would just be hopefully somewhat interesting. I had a lot of fun revisiting these brands and this topic. So anyway, I'd love to know if you've tried any of these brands, what products you've tried, what you like, what you didn't like. I'm always very curious, because so many of you have been able to have experiences with these brands that I haven't been able to have, and I love living vicariously through you. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.